Shatter is organized around what we call sequences. In Spooky, that would be presets, chains, and I think programs, all built into one. So it's all the same thing. It's just the sequence is a series of steps to control your frequency generators. And we can control the Spooky XMs right now, and then the Juntech/Coolertron. The next version, we expect to have the Spooky GX, and then one generator that Lewis found, it's called Unity, UNI-T, and that one looks like a really good one that we should be getting on the next one, and Cleveland gives thumbs up. So yeah, we'll get on that one too. One of the reasons I'm actually excited about the Unity is it uses a communications protocol, which is common with a whole lot of extremely high-end electronic test equipment, the NI/VISA communications protocol. And so that it will make it very easy to communicate with really high-end frequency generators later on if we want to. So sequences. I'm going to open up a sequence here so you can see what a sequence might look like. And this is a sequence. Now, a sequence, we have labels. We have frequency steps. A frequency step has time, whether to synchronize the two channels and how to synchronize them. And for each individual channel, you can program them independently if you want. And in fact, something that you can do is you can duplicate a sequence if you want to go mess with it and do stuff to it. So I can turn off synchronization between the two channels, and now I can have each channel independent, completely independent. So channel 1, channel 2 can be running two completely different things if you want. So Cleveland, for you, if you had a remote for one person on one, you could have a remote for another person on the other. As long as they share the time, they could both be working independently on completely different programs. You'd have a little bit of custom programming to do, but it is possible. So the things you can change for each channel, you have the frequency start, which is the primary frequency. Stop frequency is if you have a sweep. So if you want to go from 9.4962 to 9.69, this will actually do a sweep over 1200 seconds from the low to the high. Or you could have it going high to low. Or, now here's channel 2. The frequency going out of channel 2 would be basically 12,045 hertz. I can also have a wobble. I could do, let's say, a 1% wobble, which will go, when this step starts, it will start 1% below 12,045 and do one slow sweep for 1200 seconds from 1% below to 1% above 12,045. And that way, if you don't know an exact frequency, this will probably hit it if it's in that range. Other things that you can set individually for each channel, you can set the voltage. You can have a ramped voltage. So instead, if you're in contact mode, you can, instead of just going on instantly, you can go over a period of seconds to bring the voltage up. You can set the waveform between sine, square, and triangle individually for channels. If you have a square wave, you can set the duty cycle. I mean, you can set the duty cycle, but it only affects square waves, no other waves. Offset, you should probably leave alone unless you know what the heck you're doing. And very few people know what they're doing. And sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. And then the phase, I don't know of anybody that has a reason to mess with phase, but it's there just in case. It is a parameter you can set on the generators. So that's the frequency steps. Then you have label steps. Label steps, you can basically label sections within your sequence. For example, this is a sequence I actually run at night, and I've modified it over time to do things that I want to do. And I actually label sections. So this was just for my sinuses. I've had some plugged up sinuses for a while. And so I was playing with some frequencies for that. And then the other day I did a really hard bike ride that should have made me really sore. So instead of just being sore the next day, I went and added some ligament, muscle, and nerve healing frequencies. And I just added that in, but I labeled it so I know which is which. So now if I'm done with these, I can go in and just get rid of these. I can just select all these, right click and delete. And now I'm back to just my sinus frequencies. It's that easy to edit these things. So other things that you can add, and I'm going to close this up and not save it. Other things that you could add, actually, I'm going to show you a different thing real quick. So one of the things we can do is you can use an outside spreadsheet to edit and create sequences. And what you do is you use the template that we can provide you or have provided you, and you create a CSV file. It's a pretty standard spreadsheet format. And once you're done, you can click, drag, and drop. And now you've got a new sequence, fully runnable, that you've created outside of Shatter. Now, if you look in here, this has just general healing. It has scar healing, ligament healing, muscle healing, nerve healing, lymph, etc. It's got a bunch of different ones, but you'll notice each one of these sections at the end of it. So if I look at scar, this is the section for scars. I have a beep and then a pause. The beep is just an audible beep. It'll beep on your computer. So if your sound is turned up, you can hear it. And that way you'll know, okay, I'm done with that section. But then I have it doing a pause for infinite seconds. The reason I have this is this sequence is all of my healing sets that I might want to run at some point. And I can have them all in one. I don't have to have a healing for nerves and a healing for lymph. I don't have to have individual sequences for all of them. They're all in the same one. So when I go to load this up, I can just go to the scar healing and run it, and it'll stop at the end of scar healing. So I can basically keep all my healing frequencies organized into one sequence. Then the last thing that you can add is a loop. And loop, you can specify how many times you loop back or infinite times. And infinite times, when it gets to the end, it's just going to go back to the beginning and start over again. If I have loop 1, what'll happen is it'll go through the whole sequence, go back one time, run it again, and then stop. So a loop of 1 will run everything twice. A loop of 5 will run everything 6 times. Okay? So then, other things about this. So now, I have a sequence here, HPA, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So these are frequencies for HPA axis. Let's say that I want to run some healing. I want to do some nerves to go with this. I like it, but I want to add some nerve healing frequencies. I can go here and select nerve healing down to the end. I can either go up here to edit and select copy, or I can right click, which gives me a contextual menu, which is all of the things I can do from those menus, and I can copy. I can come over here, tell it where, and paste. And so just like a modern editor, I can copy and paste between sequences. It makes it super easy to modify your own sequences. So then I can basically save it. And now if I want to go now, wait, I'm going to move this one off to the side. I can click this, drag it onto my Spooky. There it is. And notice the new sequence steps are in here already. And all I have to do is click start. But notice this is a little difficult to get to the start button. So what I can do is close this up because I'm done with that. If I right click inside the generator area, I get a little contextual menu. I can pop out. And now I have my generator separate here. So now let's say I have my HPA axis balance and I really don't want to do this. I want to just do my nerve healing. I can select nerve healing and then click start. And it starts running from there. So now I can just pause. This works like a modern editor, everything that you'd expect. So I can also redock it. So it'll put it back here.